Good morning. Thanks for joining us for Yoga from the Park. I'm Janet Casson. And this morning's practice, I'd like for us to practice an idea that was brought to me through Buddhist meditation training called shamatha, which translates into calm abiding. The idea behind calm abiding is that there might be chaos going on around us, but that we can find our calm center and abide within that. It's not an effort to shut out the outside world. It's not an effort to make things pristine and perfect and then we can relax, but that even among the noise and the maybe accosting of our senses, we can still find our center, find our ability to be. So we'll take a moment just right now to calmly abide. So get yourself into a seat that feels supported and uplifted. You might sit right on the grass like I am, or maybe on a cushion or in a chair. Allow your sitting bones to be very grounded and let your hands rest on your lap wherever they naturally fall, elbows hanging right under their shoulders. And we're going to just try to find a very long spine here, tall in the front and the back. And the reason for lengthening, again, is not to find rigidity, not to put on a show of how it's supposed to look, but really to create more space for the breath, to create more ease in the body. So allow your thigh bones and your sitting bones to be heavy. You can allow your gaze to softly fall onto the ground in front of you. Again, a practice of shamatha is not to close the eyes completely, but just to diffuse the gaze. So we're still aware of where we are and the sights and the sounds that are coming into our periphery. But we're not allowing ourselves to get carried away by the stories about those senses. So take a moment to let the lights and the textures come into your eyes, noticing them. Allow the sounds to drop into your ears. No need to see how much you can hear, just notice what you do hear. Notice if there's a taste in your mouth or any smells that you are breathing in. And notice the temperature of the air on your skin, the texture of your clothing. Not working to change any of these circumstances, but simply observing them as they are and allowing them to define this perfect moment. If we wait for things to be just so before we begin, we might never start anything. So being able to abide within whatever circumstances we find ourselves is a skill that will serve us well in every part of our lives. With your next inhale, allow your eyes to open wider and lift your arms up alongside your ears. As you exhale, bring your right hand down to the ground and side bend deeply. Inhale, come back up to the center, both arms reach. Exhale, side bend the other direction. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, take a twist to your right, just letting your left hand come to the front of your right knee, and then the right hand behind you is sort of like a kickstand. Use your inhale to sit your spine up very tall, imagining a puppet string attached to your sternum. As you exhale, turn a little bit deeper, but let that turning happen from deep in your core, the muscles around your spine, rather than leveraging with your hands. We'll stay for one more cycle of breath. Inhale to lift up tall, and exhale to twist. Inhale, come back up to center, arms reach, letting the shoulders stay relaxed even as the arms extend. And exhale to twist to your left. Again, finding a long spine, thinking of length for the front of the body as much as the back of the body. And using the deep muscles of your core to revolve. Stay for one more cycle of breath here, inhaling to sit up and exhaling to turn. Inhale, lift your arms up alongside your ears. And as you exhale now, round through your spine, hands to the fronts of your shins. Chin in and tuck your tail under. Keep your hands on your legs. Pull your heart space forward. If it feels okay for your neck, gaze up towards the sky. As you exhale, carve in, rounding through the back body. And one more time, inhaling to lift up. Exhale, release back to neutral, and we'll switch the crossing of the legs, doing that whole bit just one more time. Inhale to lift the arms. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, side bend the other direction. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, twist to your right. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist to your left. Inhale, lift your arms up alongside your ears, and exhale, draw your hands to the fronts of your chin in, and then curving through the back body, lifting the chest. Exhaling to crunch in and sides of the waist move back. Inhaling to bring the belly forward. And we'll find neutral through the spine here and bring our hands forward. You might turn yourself on your mat just like I am, on your non-mat, right on the grass. I'll just turn so you can see where we're going here. Hands right underneath the shoulders, and then bring your feet back into plank pose, top of a push-up. Find a buoyancy here in the center of your body, like your hips were resting on a flotation device, and the whole rest of your body is on the surface of the water. Now hinge back to your downward facing dog and take some time here to really settle in. I have the luxury of at this moment for letting my hands sink into the grass, and that's giving me a very clear sense of how I can hold on to the earth. If you are on a flat surface, you can do the same thing. Allow the lengths of your fingers to root down into your mat, taking a little more weight towards the fronts of your hands so that the fine bones of your wrists don't have to bear all of that weight. Let's come up high onto the balls of the feet and lift through the sitting bones. As you exhale, allow your heels to descend. See if you can coax a little more length out of the backs of your legs. And we'll do that again, inhaling to lift up high onto the balls of the feet. And exhaling to release. Now this time, as you inhale, lift your heels and allow that to propel you forward. So shoulders coming over wrists into plank pose. Pausing here just to find what is sustainable about this pose. And then exploring balance if you choose, lifting your left foot up just parallel to the floor, not too high. Gently lower that foot and try with the right. Notice the tendency to sink towards that lifted limb, but instead, imagine someone had hold of your ankle and was helping to lift you up. Then place that back down and move to downward facing dog. Bend your right knee very deeply, allow your left heel to sink. And then switch that. Left knee bends as the right heel sinks. And allow that pedaling of the feet to turn into a walk. So step by step, you bring your feet forward towards your hands. At some point, your hands will need to get light to help you into your forward fold, allowing the weight to be balanced right over the arches of your feet, your head hanging heavily. Feel free to shake your head gently, no. Nod your head gently, yes. Allow your arms to hang down and relax. The legs may not be straight here. This is our first forward fold of the day. So it's a nice time to just invite them. Ask the hamstrings and the backs of your calves if they might be willing to let go just a little bit. And bring your hands onto your shins. Inhale, reach your spine long. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Do that one more time. Lift halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. This time, inhale, reach your arms wide and up alongside your ears for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, release your hands by your side, Tadasana. Take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale softly out your mouth. One more time like that, inhaling and exhaling. Inhale, reach your arms wide, lift up. Exhale, swan dive forward over the legs. The knees can bend to soften the landing for the low back. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the spine. Chest reaches forward. Exhale, release. Inhale, sweep your arms wide and up. Exhale, release your hands by your sides. And that's our half sun salutation. We'll do just one more. Inhale to lift the arms up. Exhale, swan dive forward over the legs. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the spine. Exhale, release your hands to the ground and let the head hang down. Inhale, sweep the arms wide, let the heels root to support the rising. Exhale, grow taller as your arms come down to your side. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. This time, bring your hands in line with your toes and step your right foot far back into a lunge. Pausing right here just to find a length for your lunge that works well for you. So fingertips in line with toe tips, trying to find a 90-degree bend in that front knee so that the knee is right up over the ankle, and then full extension through the right leg. Stretch long from your right heel to the crown of your head. And then plant your palms fully. Step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank pose. We'll try our balancing act once again, lifting first the left foot up, just lifting it a little bit off the ground, and then placing it down and switching to the right. And placing it down. Come back to downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up high for a down dog split, and imagine again someone had hold of that ankle, lifting it lovingly up towards the sky so that lifting that leg becomes less arduous and a little more like levitating. Take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, engage the belly to draw the foot between the hands. We'll gently lower the back knee here, untuck the toes so that the whole shin bone, all the way to the toenails, it steps down onto the ground. Walk your hands up onto your front thigh, and then find where your center is. So for most of us, we can come pretty low into our lunge, but then we might recognize that our hips are no longer balanced. So find how low you can go while still keeping the left hip in line with the right hip. For me, there's a scissoring action of the inner thighs, drawing the right heel back and the left knee forward so that I'm cinched in. It sounds like that, right to the center. Then lift your arms up alongside your ears. Lift just straight up here. Sometimes we go for a back bend in this position, and we will explore that in a moment. But for now, see about lifting up, even the back ribs lifting up away from the back of the pelvis. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, release your hands to the floor around your front foot. Tuck your back toes, lift your knee, step forward, and fold over your legs. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold right back down over your legs. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, step your left foot far back into a lunge. This is just a transitional moment, so I know it's the same foot we just had back. But we can take a moment here to find this lifted back leg, the stance that works for us, so that if we step far enough, when we plant the palms, all we have to do is meet the feet to find the stance for our downward dog. No muss, no fuss. We're already there. Let's inhale forward into plank pose. Now this time, the option of trying a balance with the hands, just lifting the right hand in front of your chest, and releasing it down. And then lifting the left hand in front of your chest and leaving it down. And you can tell it's hard work by what happens with my voice and my breath. And the work here is to move slowly allowing the chest and the hips to continue to face the ground. If we turn away, we're making it easy on ourselves, so we don't need to do that. Come back to your downward dog. Lift your left leg up high for a down dog split. Use your exhale to engage the belly. Step the foot forward between the hands. Untuck the toes as you lower the back knee. And then first find the steadiness in your lunge. Letting the hips be nice and even. It takes a little moving around to figure out where your center is. Scissoring the inner thighs. And from that strong gathering in of the legs, then we can lift and lengthen through the spine, and the arms lift just because they can hardly help but express themselves this way. Take a deep breath. And exhale, release your hands to the floor. Tuck your back toes, lift the knee, step forward, and fold over your legs. Inhale, lift your arms wide, come up. Exhale, grow taller as your hands come down. Now standing here at the top of our space, let's draw the right knee in and up. We'll balance on the left foot. And when we talk about balancing, I know this is not news for any of you, but it is an act. It is not a thing that we achieve. Like, oh, I'm balanced and now I'm done. I don't have to think about it anymore. No, there are tons of little movements that are happening in my foot and ankle right now to keep me from falling over. All the muscles in my calf are firing and unfiring to find that balance. Now take your hands and bring them underneath your right hamstring and allow your right leg to fully relax into your arms. If I were to let go of the interweaving of my hands, my leg would drop. So try that just for a moment, letting the full weight of the leg drop into the hands. See if that helps you to balance a little bit more steadily on that left leg. It might feel heavy and topple you over, but it might feel a little more grounded. Now bring activity back into that lifted leg so you don't need your hands there to hold it, and feel what that's like, how the weight is distributed. Even though this leg is lifted, it's working and helping you with this pose. Now externally rotate the leg so the knee comes out and place the foot to the inside of the calf. We're just coming into a low tree pose. I know for some of you, you might be accustomed to drawing the heel right up towards the pelvis, but for now, let's keep the foot down so that we can keep it light. We are in control with that lifted leg. Bring your hands together at your heart and gaze just out at the horizon. So the same height as your eyes, and see how far out you can see. I have the luxury of looking out almost all the way across the lake right now. Now, to challenge our balance even further here, I invite you to close or cover your right eye. And then open both eyes. And then close or cover your left eye. And open both eyes. And now lift up tall through that standing leg. I know it's getting a little bit achy and shaky. That means good work is happening. See about closing both of your eyes. And open both of your eyes. If that became very shaky for you, you're not alone. We use our eyes in order to help us balance in very profound ways. So that is an incredible challenge. Let's go ahead and internally rotate that lifted leg. Keep it lifted still. Bend the standing leg, so your left leg, and then hinge forward, coming very briefly through Warrior 3, heel and head reaching in opposite directions. That left leg might straighten. And then we'll bend the left knee again. Hands come to the ground around your left foot, stepping the right foot all the way back. Plant the palms. Step to downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. Option to play with a balancing act, either lifting one foot at a time or lifting one hand at a time. And then come back to downward dog. Bring your right leg up high for a down dog split. Bend your left knee so that the hips have some freedom here, and then you can bend your right knee through the ankle, and we'll step that foot all the way forward between the hands. This time, lower the back knee, untuck the toes, hook your thumbs, let your palms face forward, and then lift up long through the spine as you also start to arc back. The arcing back is fully optional, and if it feels risky in the low back, then I encourage you to not back bend too much. But all of those same ideas that we practiced before, the scissoring of the inner thighs, the lifting of the rib cage away from the pelvis, so that when we back bend, it's happening more right behind the heart than it is in the back waist. Take one more breath. And exhale, release your hands to the floor. Tuck your back toes, lift the back knee. We'll take kind of a big step forward, maybe a little propulsion here, to lift the left leg up, stepping into our standing splits. Lifting from the left inner thigh, more than the outer hip, and flointing through the lifted foot. So very vibrant and bright through that leg. You might try the balance here by taking hold of your right ankle with one or both of your hands. Allow your head to bow down as the left foot lifts. One more breath. Then place your hands to the mat and step your left foot next to your right foot and fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands come onto shins. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms to the sky. Exhale, release your hands down. So now we get to try all of that again on the other side. So let's balance on the right leg and lift your left knee in towards your belly. First, just feeling the work of the standing leg. And then interlacing your hands behind your left hamstring and allowing the left leg to be nice and heavy into your hands. Just see what that does. It might feel wobbly, it might feel settled. There's no right or wrong way or expected way for it to feel. Just experimenting with differentiations here. So when we take the hands away and the leg is active, we know the difference. And we can tell how much this leg is working to maintain this stance. Now externally rotate and place the foot to the inside of the calf. One reason for stepping the foot lower down the leg is not only the control of the lifted leg, but also the pressure of the foot into the leg is very light. Bring your hands together at your heart. Allow your tailbone to drop, but not tuck. And allow your sternum, the center of your chest, to lift up. Gazing out as far as you can see, letting your eyes stretch. And then option here to close or cover your right eye. And open both eyes. And close or cover your left eye. And open both eyes. And then finally, closing both of your eyes. I promise I'm doing this with you. And then open both of your eyes. I even took my sunglasses off so that I could be held accountable here. Now allow your leg to internally rotate. Hands can stay at your heart. Bend your standing leg just a little so that you're able to find some movement in the hips and push the left foot back as the collarbones extend forward. Bend the right knee, lightly land down. Hands can come to the earth around your front foot and lower the back knee and untuck the toes. Hook your thumbs the opposite direction that you did before and lift up. First lifting the ribs up away from the hips and then finding a little bit of an upper back bend. And the goal here is not to toss the head back and really crunch the back of the neck. The goal here is to let the eyes travel and see everything there is to see from the horizon up to the sky. Release your hands to the ground around your front foot. Tuck your back toes. Lift your back knee. Step back to downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank. one more time here to try a balance, and this time, if you'd like to do both at once, you can, lifting your left foot and your right hand, and then lifting your right foot and your left hand, finding your strong center and calmly abiding within. Bring your left foot forward, and we'll take a big step coming up into standing splits. Right leg lifting, internally rotating that lifted leg, and trying to find sort of a seesaw action. As much as the right heel is lifting, that's how much the head can bow down. If this feels risky in your hamstrings or your low back, then a little bend in the standing leg, actually a little bend in the standing leg is helpful for most everyone, just so we don't lock in our joints. Bring your hands to the ground, step your right foot next to your left, and fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, and exhale, release your hands. We're going to play with our tree pose just one more time, and I'll turn to face you. You can face whatever direction you choose, but we'll balance once again on our left foot. Draw your right foot in. You may decide to keep the foot low on the leg just for the same reason we did before. You have more control over the leg. If you bring the foot up high, you may find that you're relying on your clothes not being too slippery or the pressure of that foot. It feels very heavy to me to place my heel to my thigh, so instead I'm going to keep the touch light right at my inner calf. And this time you can try the balancing act with your eyes closed, or maybe you could try for a lift through the chest, letting your branches spread and allowing it to be blown by the wind. Finding that same bit of upper back bend that we explored just a moment ago. And if it is wobbly, letting that be an indication to you that you are in a living, breathing body. And how awesome is that? So stepping down and getting yourself ready for the other side. Stepping right into tree pose. Hands can come to heart center. Hands can be on your waist. Whatever feels steadiest for you. And then potential to lift the arms up into a V. And the clincher might be exactly what we do with our eyes. In Sanskrit, the word is drishti. It means gaze. And when we invite our gaze to travel, of course we see more of the world, but we also have to lose focus on what we had seen before. We might be invited to believe and think other things are possible. And slowly release. Let your hands come down. And then, with no choreography, go ahead and make your way all the way to a seat. I'll sit facing you. You can sit whatever direction you like. I'm going to take my right leg and extend it out long, and my left foot into my right inner thigh. So essentially doing tree down. And for this one, I'm going to turn my torso as much as I can towards my lengthened leg. In fact, twisting a little bit more to the right, and then laying my belly down over my right leg, taking left hand to the outside of the right foot and crossing at the wrists so the right hand holds the inner foot. Now, if the foot is far away, we don't need to worry about touching the foot. We can hold inner knee, calf, ankle, anything along the way is perfect. Again, calmly abiding within the circumstances we find ourselves might mean being patient with muscles that have been working very hard our whole lives, and now we're asking them to let go, and that might be an unfamiliar, uncomfortable thing to do. And walk your hands back up and switch. So right foot draws in towards the left inner thigh, turning your torso and hinging forward, taking the right hand to the outer leg and left hand to the inner leg wherever you reach. And really, there's a little bit of pull to guide you forward, but not too much. Allowing gravity to do most of the work. And walk yourself upright, and then bring your legs right out in front of you, and feel free to give the thighs and knees a little massage, maybe even allowing the legs to go floppy again, just so you can feel how all of that effort gets relinquished. And then I come all the way down to lay. I'm going to stay seated up just so I can be attentive to our time, but you can feel free to lay down fully, allowing your feet to come out a little bit wider than your hips and letting your arms come down alongside your hips so that you can turn your palms to face up, shoulders broadening, collarbones spreading, and heart space open. Just trying to find a nice receptive posture for our breath to fall in. And we'll hold space for Shavasana just for a couple of moments. So I'll let you know when it's time to come up. But until then, allow yourself to find this calm abiding. Maybe letting your attention but noticing the richness of the here and now. And a more complete breath out. Offer some individual attention to each of your fingers and toes. And if you'd like a full body stretch, take your arms up overhead and reach your fingertips away. And one at a time, bend your knees. Place the soles of your feet onto the ground. And use just the effort that's necessary to roll onto your right side. Pausing there for a moment, letting your right arm cushion your head. Then again, just the effort that's necessary to press yourself to a seat. Allowing your eyes to remain soft. Join your palms together at your heart. You and in gratitude to this practice that allows us to calmly abide. I bow. Namaste.